this relaunch of the platform, this episode, what we're talking about now, all of this has brought us to this point where we have this beautiful new coding platform for you, for all of you listening, for all of you in our community to use. And it is something we're very proud of. It's something that we've been wanting to do for years and just haven't really found that time, that haven't made the time, haven't found that energy to just get behind it. And it's been pretty much built from the ground up in 3 weeks, which is incredible. The amount of issues we have open and closed on the repo is a testament to just bang, smashing out all these little bits and pieces here and there. So it's there. It's open for you now. You can use it the second you hear this. Go browse to it. You can subscribe. I want you to subscribe. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But and there's something very important to me about that I want you to listen to. So don't hit stop and go subscribe yet. You got to finish listening to this. Hello and welcome to the PyBites podcast, where we talk about Python, career, and mindset. We're your hosts. I'm Julian Sequeira.
And I am Bob Beldebos. If you're looking to improve your Python, your career, and learn the mindset for success, this is the podcast for you. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another PyBites podcast episode, everyone. I am Julian. I'm here with Bob. How you going, man?
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the PyBites podcast. Actually, it's you and me, right? Is this really happening? I might be dreaming.
I know. We say this every time. There's so much stuff going in between. We never record anymore. But let's take it as a win once per month. But we had to record this one
every week, then every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks. Now it's like every 8 weeks. We're not going to continue that exponential trend.
Well, we can't because there's the anniversary episode coming up in another month. So we're going to have to record that sooner. So. But just as exciting as the anniversary, what do we have today? What's happening?
PyBites Platform 2.0, for example.
Very exciting. Very exciting. So, Bob, okay, I'm going to hammer you with questions and a bit of structure that we didn't talk about before this, but I'm thinking about our viewers and our listeners, right? So for everyone listening and watching, we have relaunched our coding platform, right? And we're calling it PyBites Platform 2.0. So for the people who aren't familiar with this or kind of are familiar with this, and everyone's like, what is this? What is it? I imagine people listening to this driving their cars have just pulled over to the side of the road going, I need to hear all about this. So Bob, what's going on here? What have we done?
So maybe a bit of a history lesson then, right? Back in 2016, we started with a tech blog, and the second year of PyBites, or the first year even, we started to develop this coding platform, right? Because we were doing these blog code challenges, and people would submit their work through GitHub and pull requests, and we wanted to have a way to automate that, right? So we set up this workflow using GitHub API and stuff, so people could submit their work. And that's actually all not there anymore. Because from there we learned, and one day I said, like, it would actually be cool to do this all on the platform, right? Coding in a browser and stuff. And that's what we built. And that became the core. And the product was around the bites of Py, right? These little exercises, bite-sized, practical, real-world. Because you get a lot of questions like, how is this different from lead code? Well, ours are Python-specific, real-world, and we really got our exercises down to this, effective way of doing things, and really for the Python developer, written for Python developers by Python developers. Anyway, we design-wise, we did the best we could. We had, we didn't get into React and stuff. We use CSS, and we use a framework called MUI CSS, and because we like material design, and material design is cool, right? And but it didn't look that fantastic. It looked more like a project versus a product. I still think the V1 codechalleng.es is very functional. Like backend wise, we made the right choices with going with Django and using AWS Lambda for the code validation, and have a bit of a microservices architecture there. But the design was kind of what we what we always came back to, and we got a lot of account deletion requests like, the interface sucks, this design is like 99. Well, it's not that bad. But people were not happy. It was functional, but it also became very cluttered because we were just hammering out feature after feature, what we thought was cool. And some of the features were cool, but it just came very cluttered. And lately, the feedback increasingly was like, it's hard to navigate, right?
Yeah.
So I think for 1 or 2 years, we said, like, we need a front end designer. We need to couple this. We're going to do an API and then have a front end expert do the front end and completely decouple it. And then I think I was listening to Peter Levels on some episode about building and stuff. And I was into Rust. And I think over the weekend, I built that Rust platform prototype, right?
It's beautiful.
And I think you said, like, what the hell is this? Like, you were reacting if it was some sort of aliens
so
coming
angry.
invade us. Like this is some other species kind of stuff, you know? I was like, okay, well, what if I do copy paste and make that the prototype for PyBites Platform V2? And that's how it all started. And turned out we didn't have to hire a front end developer. We used Tailwind CSS, and it's pretty clean. So
I still remember being
Is that a good
annoyed.
summary of
that's a good summary of the why, and I think that's a really valuable lesson for people, because, and I think the reminder I want to give here is that we didn't build this for anyone but ourselves, really, and we also didn't have the knowledge about UX and UI design, and that user experience, the flow of the user's journey through the website and all these cool things, right? We didn't know that stuff. We were like, hey, let's put a leaderboard in. Let's just put a little coding window here, and let's do. Oh, what about a coding streak? Oh, that'd be cool. Let's do that. It's all about how could we even do it. The challenge of, it'd be mad if we could do it. Let's try it. Let's do it. And there's a point where it crosses over from being a pet project like that to, oh, this is a service that people are paying for. And at that point, then you kind of have to show some restraint, show some balance, and start thinking about what is that user experience like. And push comes to shove, that's what we failed to do, and we're very open to admitting that. But we're also very open to saying, well, it wasn't a priority for us. Right? We had the coaching take off and lots of things to do. But now it's something that's really important to us. We want to be able to show people, like, hey, we've learned a lot over the years as well. We haven't just coached people and learned nothing. And we've learned a boatload about UX, about design, about just making things efficient in the back end. So, Bob, as you were saying, the back end of the first platform is amazing. Like, it just, we never had failures. It never went down unless we wanted it to, right? Unless we had an outage on purpose, but we'd never had issues with that thing. And that's a testament to you and the way you built it, right? This new platform takes it to the next level based on everything you've learned since, and embracing emerging technologies and so on. So it's efficient. It is fast. It is so fast. And people listening who have used the previous platform on codechalleng.es, that old domain, you will see a significant difference and boost in speed on this thing. And it is beautiful and an absolute pleasure to use. So again, Bob, you're just incredible, man, the way you've done this stuff. It's beautiful.
Thanks. I think it's not Rust fast, but I will take it. But I think a couple of things there. We were making an extra round trip to Lambda to AWS. So I would call AWS would grab the files, and then there was like that extra trip. It wasn't really necessary. You can just call the API with the strings of code and test, and that's it, right? So that made it faster. But also we did like complete page refreshes because we didn't know any better. And there was no HTMX. I mean, there was JavaScript, but I think at the time back then we were so busy learning Django and focusing on the back end that let's have the page refresh. It's the last thing we want to deal with. But actually, it's very important to do Ajax and make your pages more responsive, right? So now it's HTMX, right? So you call the validate endpoint and you just get an HTML snippet back and you put that in a div on a page, and that's significantly faster, right? So these two things combined, maybe also the fact that we upgraded from 3.10 to 3.12 with our exercises. Python also is becoming faster, so maybe that as well. But these three things make it very, very responsive. I think that's important, right? If anything's even like over a second, people are starting, and even if it's like 2 seconds, people start to get annoyed, right?
I think something's wrong.
The linters is better. So before we had 3 buttons, and so you would run black and flake 8 and radon. I think we dropped radon. I'm not sure if it was used enough, but now you have rough, right? So we have one call. Again, use HTMX. It instantly lints it. Rough is, of course, also super fast, which helps.
Yep.
And one click, boom, the diff gets updated. Formatted code is put back in the code editor with a blink of your eye. So it's very pleasant in that sense.
Thank you for getting so technical. I do appreciate it.
I have to. People want to hear that.
So not everyone, not this guy. No, I'm joking. Of course. Well, I've heard all this a million times, right? But you better be.
What you doing?
The thing I want to point out to everyone is,
remind you, there's still a tech podcast. Yeah.
Is it? Oh my God. I didn't even know that. This relaunch of the platform, this episode, what we're talking about now, all of this has brought us to this point where we have this beautiful new coding platform for you, for all of you listening, for all of you in our community to use. And it is something we're very proud of. It's something that we've been wanting to do for years and just haven't really found that time, that haven't made the time, haven't found that energy to just get behind it. And it's been pretty much built from the ground up in 3 weeks, which is incredible. The amount of issues we have open and closed on the repo is a testament to just bang, smashing out all these little bits and pieces here and there. So it's there. It's open for you now. You can use it the second you hear this. Go browse to it. You can subscribe. I want you to subscribe, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But there's something very important to me about that I want you to listen to. So don't hit stop and go subscribe yet. You got to finish listening to this. But Bob, anything else on the tech side you wanted to mention before I jump into what I want to talk about?
Yeah, a couple of things. So one of the challenging things was, of course, working with an existing platform where a lot of happy customers are already, coding, having data. So one of the challenges was really, how do we get that data across? So at the very start, we looked at, okay, how can we make this experience more seamless, right? So what we did was, you can log into V2. Let's just call it V2 and V1, right? To make it easy, you can log in to V2 with your V1 credentials. That we opened up an endpoint, API endpoint in V1. It will match the login, and if there's a match, it will clone your account basically, right? So it will make an account with the same credentials on V2. Still have to confirm your email, of course, for security, and then it will pull in all your data. So you log into V2 with V1 credentials, you have your account, you have all your data. Your score might be slightly off because there were a few exercises, maybe 3% that we haven't published because of technical issues. So your score might vary a little bit, but it should be very close. I think we had somebody with a 6 points different, and then we could trace that back to 2 MyPy exercises that are not there yet. But I promise there will be a whole MyPy learning path in return. So it will be compensated. So yeah, and then you have your data and you can just keep working, instead of having to do that manually, this is all done upon login. So I think that's important to know. We have a clear disclaimer, because when you do that, then the V1 account gets disabled, right? So it's all the way, right? And it's also a lesson if you're in a situation you have to make some hard decisions. And for us, it's really when you're on V2, you're going to go back to V1 because we don't want to update to data sets, right? Because if you then keep coding on V1, the data is out of sync, right? So once the data is over, it's done, right? And you should be on V2. It's just much better anyway, right?
Yeah,
and we're going to sunset V1 as well, right? So it's not like we're going to run those 2 platforms in parallel. It's not going to happen. That's one thing. The other thing I want to call out that we have been very deliberate at every step to make it minimal, very ruthless. We didn't have coding streak calendar, we didn't have learning paths, but we saw the demand and we really liked those 2 features, so we already sneaked them in. So learning paths are there, and the coding streak calendar is there. But yeah, you will see a profile page that's beautiful, way more minimal, and we're at every step we're very deliberate of not getting thoughtful, not making that, getting into that cluttered mess again.
Yep. No, you're exactly right. And when it shows how with just that extra little bit of thought as you're doing these things, you can actually have robust and a feature-filled product without sacrificing the user experience, right? So we've got a lot of the stuff that's on the from the original platform on this new one, but it's just perfectly placed. It's very well thought out. We're very proud of it. And what I do want to call out, Bob, in addition to this thoughtfulness about the user experience on the platform and the design, we're also thinking about our existing subscribers. There have been so many people, tens of thousands of people over the year who've tried out the platform. There are plenty of existing subscribers who are currently paying for the old platform. And we want to make sure that their transition to this new platform is completely seamless. So if we could take action or friction away from the existing user, then we did. And we worked hard to make sure that they could come across and just get started without having to click extra things, without having to enter in extra details or manually unsubscribe here and all these different things like that. It's the most efficient process we could possibly come up with that satisfied us as end users of other products, right? How would we want to be treated? And so we've really streamlined that process.
Yeah, I think it was a good reminder to us as well how we just love this product building stuff and engineering, right? Because we you want to create this perfect experience, right? Like for example, we're changing from Gumroad to Stripe, which we'll talk about in a
Those
bit.
are payment providers for those of you that don't
Right.
know. Yeah.
And so I think the one cool thing we did is we listed all the paying customers, right? And when they log in, we do another detection if they're on that list, right?
Mm,
And if they are, they just get their whatever they paid for plus some
yep.
extra, right? To
Yeah.
really, you
To
know,
say thank you.
to say thank you, right? So
Yeah.
if they are monthly, they get a month. If they're yearly, they get a year. They surely will get extra time. And again, they don't have to do anything, right? We will cancel the old subscription on the old provider.
Yep.
They just have to log in and we just build it in, right? So that
Yep.
that the email's matched and then things will happen. And so you don't
Exactly.
have to do anything, and that's really nice because we have seen other examples where a lot of burden is put on the customer, and we think that that shouldn't be the case. So
Yeah. Should have to do almost nothing. I'll also add that oh, I've forgotten my train of thought, man. I had something. You reminded me of something. I've
well, I
lost
think you're
it.
going to talk about so it's
I know.
cleaner, it's faster,
And
and
it's cheaper. And it's cheaper.
more affordable. So what about that?
So the thing I forgot had something to do with what you mentioned about the other part. But anyway, we'll dive into what I want to talk about. I can mention that later. So one of our core value at PyBites, and I don't mean to get businessy and stuff, but Bob and I, our core value is that we want to lift people up. That's why we coach. That's why we do difficult levels of coaching of one-to-one. You don't just get a group together and say, hey, you all suddenly know something. Everyone learns differently. We believe in doing this one-to-one coaching. It lifts people up, gets them where they need to be. Likewise, when it came to this platform, we were very aware that the price tag on it was just, it put the platform out of reach for so many people around the world because it was 25 US dollars on the old platform. Now, to get into some specifics, so I apologize for talking numbers with people, but right now, the new platform, PyBites Platform 2.0, is priced at 15 US dollars. Now, before you run away going, that's still too much, Julian, just give me a second. So
What was it
we
before?
believe
25, right?
it was 25 before. So
Hmm.
it's already $10 cheaper for the United States, right? Now,
40%.
what exactly? So, oh, geez, you calculated that on the fly. This guy's crazy. So, what I want to talk about now is something called parity pricing. So, for those of you that know, I apologize if I am repeating this. Parity pricing, pretty much in a nutshell, is pricing something to the cost of living of a specific country or all countries around the world. So let's use the bread example that economists tend to use, or 2 liters of milk or something. But how much would a loaf of bread cost in the United States versus Australia versus India versus wherever else, right? And that relativity to that cost is something that you need to factor in into your pricing on something like this, or you should, right? Because 15 US for this platform 15 United States dollars for this platform is okay for someone living in the US earning an average American salary, right? But over here in Australia, 15 US is still something around 20 Australian dollars, which is not as affordable as, say, 15 Australian dollars. So, what we've done is we've done the research, we've reached out to an organization that does this sort of thing. We have a report, and we've been able to price this platform relative to the cost of living in 150 different locations and currencies. So I'm very proud of this because this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time, but we haven't had the API to be able to do it. And Stripe now allows us to code this sort of stuff together. And we can do it at scale. So now it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you log into this platform, when you go to the pricing page and to the checkout page, you will see a price relative to your country, not just a straight conversion of US dollars to your currency. It'll actually price based on the average salary and cost of living in your country. And the goal for this is to make the platform as accessible to as many people around this planet as possible, especially in the areas of the world that could really benefit from something like this. And so we've already had amazing feedback from people in countries whose economies and currencies are not as strong as the USD. So people in the feedback from people in India, from people from our community in Ghana, South Africa, Pakistan, even here in Asia Pacific, where I am, it's just been incredible. Even the Aussies that I know have said, dude, this is amazing. This is so much more affordable. And we just cannot wait for people to start seeing this and think to themselves, oh my gosh, this is a no brainer. I can do this and I'm going to learn Python and it's going to be effective and efficient. And it's something I can do and then share it with my friends as well. So there's my speech, Bob, but it's something that's meant a lot to me and something I'm very proud of and appreciative that we were able to work together to get this over the line because there was a crap ton of painful work into getting this done.
Up until this morning, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you have to give it to Stripe as well for being developer friendly, right?
Yeah,
It's amazing. But yeah, we had to manage a lot of prices, like 150 countries
yeah. Per tier of subscription. So
this
if
year,
you buy
and there are
the
three, right?
monthly subscription, 6 month subscription, 12-month subscription, and then the newbie bites as well. So that's four different sets of
Four times
100
600 price IDs we have to manage.
600 prices
Yeah.
we had to take care of.
Yeah.
So it's done and it works and it's beautiful. It is elegant and it's seamless from country to country. Obviously, we'll find bugs along the way as people discover them, but something we're very proud of. So as you listen to this and as you watch this on YouTube, I want you to do me a favor and let that sink in about how cool that is. I'm obviously going to be very proud of it, but to be able to offer pricing that's going to be affordable to people in their local countries is something we're very, very proud of that we can do. And yeah, so please, my ask is for all of you listening and watching, share this with people you know, share this with your networks, let them know this is now something they can tackle to learn Python. And yeah, it's just, I'm looking forward to it spreading like the plague
Yep.
across the planet.
And we're also almost done with the schools and team tier. So schools and teams are welcome as well. It's again,
Yep.
more simple, cleaner, faster, how you manage the license. So it's exciting.
It's beautiful, man. I love it. And just a quick thing I'll add. This is what I remembered from before. If you are listening to this and you were part at the time of recording, it's the start of October. We just finished a Humble Bundle. And so there were people who would have been told to go to the first platform through that Humble Bundle. We didn't have this done in time. And all of that stuff has been taken care of again. So there is a huge redirect in place. Everything that was part of the previous Humble Bundles we've done is now accessible and redeemable and everything on this new platform as well. So I'll give a shout out for that.
Literally shipped that right like 2 hours ago. So all the licenses are on V2 and you can redeem them there, and because that's where it's supposed to be, right? If you have redeemed your Humble Bundle license on V1, that's also not a problem. There are those tokens and that newbie byte access. are migrated when you log in, right? It's part of the data migration. So either you have read-in on V1, no worries, you log in, your stuff will come across. If not, log into V2, do it there, works as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, we've waffled on enough about this. You will see us again. We have some videos to record for the platform itself on how to use it and everything. But for all intents and purposes, it is ready to go by the time you listen to this and watch this. So please check it out. The link is below. It's just PyBitesPlatform.com, a much nicer domain.
much better domain as well.
Much better.
codechalleng.es. Oh, yeah, it was a fun .es
Yeah.
Spain reference, but all the business in Australia. If anything, it should have been .au or something. But
no.
.com is better, and PyBites Platform is kind of says it all. Although I have to say, some people confuse it with Circle, right? Like Circle, PyBites Platform, coaching, like
being our community.
Yeah. But if you say PyBites Platform, it's all about the coding, and if you say Circle, it's all about the community.
That's right. Yeah. Although, this is the other thing I was going to say, roadmap. So there will be a roadmap put up on the website so you can see the features coming. This is on PyBitesPlatform.com, probably on /roadmap on that URL, but you'll be able to see the features that are coming. And one of those features I'm very excited about that we're going to attempt to do is to integrate the community in the tool. So you'll be able to post for help, post about the exercises. If you're a part of our coaching program, you'll be able to send a DM directly to your coach from the platform. Lots of little things like that. So again, there's more to come, lots more to build. So make sure if you are keen to know more about this, check out the contact page, check out the about page, and check out the roadmap page. Oh, and FAQs. There are lots of FAQs there as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
So go check it out, PyBitesPlatform.com. Send us any feedback through Circle. It's linked there as well. You can always hit us up with a DM or send an email. We listen closely to feedback and try to iterate rapidly over it.
Exactly. So that's it. Go code. We don't listen to any more podcasts. Go.
That's PyBites, right? Write code, not read about code. Well, a little bit, but don't talk about code too much. Just code. Implement.
Yeah,
go do it.
There you go. Yeah. All right, man. Well, look, thank you, Bob, for all of your work on this. It's just been an absolute pleasure to build this over the past 3 weeks with you. I've loved it. And yes, you've convinced me about GitHub issues. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
So it's never going to happen. Finally you saw the light.
Yeah.
About time.
I do enjoy it. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Anything else from you, Bob?
No, I think this was a good summary, and we should totally do a couple of usability videos on our channel. But yeah, it should be also more intuitive this time. So
yeah, perfect.
And thanks to everybody that already gave us feedback and stuff. Super valuable. So
yes,
keep that up.
Yeah, that's a good call. We've had a team of a whole army of testers that have been giving us feedback. So thank you everyone for that. And also, I should say this as well. Thank you to all of our subscribers, the people who have been subscribing to the platform all these years, whether it was for a month or for 4 or 5 years. We appreciate that support, and it means a lot to us. It really does. So thank you. It's kept us going, knowing that you use it, that you enjoy it, we see your progress. It has lit that fire for us. So thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Right, cheers.
Well, we'll be back next week with some exciting guests. Already recorded a couple. So
it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Nice. See you in the next episode.
See you in the next one. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. To hear more from us, go to PyBites/friends. That is pybit.es/friends, and receive a free gift just for being a friend of the show. And to join our thriving community of Python programmers, go to PyBites/community. That's pybit.es/community. We hope to see you there and catch you in the next episode.